Back in Matthew 17, Jesus taught his disciples about having faith like a mustard seed, right? It's the smallest of all the seeds, but over time it grows. So right now the disciples are being tested, and they're having their faith tested like never before. How are they doing? They're not faring so well. But after they see the resurrected Lord, and after they receive the Holy Spirit, then they really go through a radical transformation. But first, you have to go through a time of testing. If you take notes, you can write this down. James chapter 1, 2, and 3 says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience." Now, most of us, when we hear that, we think of Steve saying, count it all joy. And he gets it from this, I assume he gets it from this verse, James chapter 1. Our trials, going through difficulty, is it joyful? No, of course it's not joyful. But you got to count it joy, because when you go through difficult things, that's when God arguably is most at work in your life. I can just tell, I'm not going to go back and tell you a bunch of stories, but I can just tell you the most difficult points in my life is when my faith grew the most. When everything's going well and you feel like you're living on easy street or whatever, typically there's not a lot of growth there. It's when you're tested. And Paul says this in Romans 5, 3, and 4. He says, "We also glory in tribulation, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope." It's almost like a little kid who grows up with, no adversity, no rules, no discipline. Child grows into adolescence and they don't have a lot of character. As opposed to a child who faces adversity and has structure in their life and has gone through something that builds, well, as we read, it builds character. So building up your faith takes time. So let me just tell you, if you're going through something very difficult right now, what should you do? Pray and count it all joy, because you have to look at it like a test. I was talking to someone yesterday. He had told me about how he rededicated his life to Christ. And he had strayed from the faith, strayed from the church. He rededicated his life to Christ, and ever since, I don't think it's been that long, but ever since, he says things have just been going wrong. And things have been getting really, really difficult. I'm like, well, that's actually a really good sign, because it tells me that the devil doesn't want you moving forward in your walk with Christ. It's like someone who's new to church. I've just been going to church for the past few weeks or the past few months, and it seems like something always happens on Sunday, or there's always something that's preventing me, and these things are coming up that didn't happen before. Well, that could be the enemy's way of trying to discourage you. But you got to persevere, and then once you do that and you grow, then you can look back and see how it was all a great benefit.